Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet everyone here today. It's actually my first time visiting Brisbane. Very nice town, I would say, city. Weather is very nice. I just came from visited Sydney 2 weeks ago, giving similar talks, but on Agentic AI with Gemini. But this time I'm more using Google Model with Gemma, but will be similar. So let's get started. So my name is Lai Fong with GDE from Google Cloud and also AI. So today I'll be sharing topics on Generative AI with Gemma. Oops. That's why I...
Can you go back to your Google Meet and sharing your entire screen? Stop sharing. Yeah, then share again. Entire screen. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is that what?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, a bit technical issues, but let's get started. So I'll be sharing on Agentic AI with Gemma. So I'll be giving a bit of introduction on what's AI agent or Agentic AI, and then the components of AI agent and how to build an AI agent with Google Gemma particularly. Then we'll just wrap up with some key takeaways. So any one of you here has tried Gemini models? The more common one, right? And next will be on Gemma model. Sorry, people. Okay, so let's go through what we have today. So before I go into more details, let's look into the evolution of AI, right? Remember back in the old days, but now they are evolving so fast, right? The old days may not be very old actually, right? So when we talk about traditional programming, we are actually using the so-called rule-based programming. So we define the rules. Let's say, for example, if we want to classify a cat or a dog, we will put in the characteristic of this animal, like maybe have four legs for a cat, but then dog also have 4 legs. Then things get complicated, right? The rule base may have having some issue, like how to really determine it's actually a cat or a dog. This comes into the limitation of traditional programming. Things get just more complicated than the rule-based programming can handle. So as the evolution of that, then with the AI technology or this neural network technology coming into place, we kind of train the model like with all this basic, the very traditional first 101 of neural network classify cat, the image of a cat or a dog. We just put in many different images of cats and dogs. Let the neural network learn or train it. After it has trained, when you send in another new image, it will be surprisingly without statistically you need to put in all the rules set. It will actually determine is it a cat or a dog. So it's actually very much more powerful than this rule-based programming. So people get fascinated by it for some time, but then things get more and more complicated, right? So it has also reached to the bottleneck of this neural network system. Then with the booming of this generative AI era, so to begin with, what is generative AI? What is the difference between generative AI and conventional AI? Anyone? Any guess? Maybe some generative. So for generative AI, as the name, it already brings the meaning. The AI that is generated. So it's generative AI. So remember when my example, I was saying that you send the image for the model that is trained, it can actually predict is it a cat or a dog, and that's all it's good at, right? But you cannot do anything else. But if let's say if I do generative AI nowadays, you just say like, draw me a cat. Surprisingly, it can generate a photo of cat, right? So this is something that the AI is again another level up of power that they can actually already understand what is the meaning of you, of what you are intend, and then generate the content for you without for you to like have to put all the rule and also the photo for you to refer to. It's already somehow already have all this knowledge in the model. So this is the power of the LLM or generative AI. So and just a very quick refresh on what is generative AI. I think the most important part is, yeah, I have the laser pointer. So it's actually, it can actually create new content. It's generating new content. That's why it's called generative AI. So, and coming into, we start with the, I think 3 years back, when the world get fascinated with this ChatGPT, people just try to check with the OpenAI model, right? And it's very fun to see what is produced as a joke or story and the answer it. But nowadays, it's just not only text, but you can also work with picture, images, even audio file. So things are technology are evolving nowadays. But you may still remember this. Have you ever get this kind of answer before? As an LLM model, I don't have the real-time data. My training data is based on, let's say, 202, 205. So if you ask any question about 205 question, right? What is Trump with? You will not be able to answer, right? Or if you just hallucinate, right? So this is the limitation of the model. But then, so it's same things, the models. So then there will be the limitation of the generative AI system. Then it doesn't work. It can't, it must be some how we need to improve the system so that we are able to answer the latest question, or even as another example would be your private company data, right? You want to send it to the LLM model to trade, but you want to expose to any of the model. But yet you want the model to be able to answer the information about your company product or service, right? So they come into the picture of this so-called RAG system. It's actually a short form for retrieval augmented generation. What does it mean is we still have the LLM model in place. So if you ask a question to the LLM model and it will reply you the based on the knowledge it has been trained, it will send the response or reply back to the user. But with the RAG system, the model also get connected to, let's say, your in-house database. Then from the in-house database, you will be able to access or retrieve your product data. So then you will actually be able to combine the result from the vector database to give you the latest information or your company data information to the user. So this is the origin of how or why the RAG being introduced. Yeah, it's getting funny. So that's cool, right? So we have this RAG system. Then it starts to get improved and evolve at the same time. But then what the next question is, what should we do at the next, right? After the RAG, what's next? So and we evolve to these AI agents or agentic AIs with reasoning and also orchestration. So it's just to send or connect to your in-house database, but also it's able to be improved on the reasoning part to know what data, what information, or what function it brings to. Are you asking for house product, or are you asking for general, let's say, Google product call from the Google API state? So it has some kind of smart reasoning there, which function to call. And then the orchestration is more for deployment and production scaling up. So that's a bit on the introduction or evolution of the AI agent. So again, the AI agent is deploy application that use model for reasoning and orchestration with the external tools to achieve the goal. The highlighted wording is like essentially the keyword for AI agent definition. Let's get to the differentiation between AI agent or AI automation or AI chatbot. So what are the differences? I think we are very used to AI chatbot nowadays already. I think it's very basic things. But for AI assistant, it has a bit more functionality, the purpose with the specific task. It can actually kind of automate some of the tasks based on your instruction. But for AI agent, it can be autonomously and productively performing tasks based on the environment surroundings. So you will actually detect what is, you don't need to specify the rule or the functions in your prompt, but it can determine it as to how it's reasoning logic behind. Then it can perform more complex tasks and also link it to a different toolset and all, and which is why it can be more automated. And I think nowadays it's coming to more and more powerful with what is multi AI agent system, that you can have one agent who go who is the root, another agent who do testing for you. It's all so powerful, so automated nowadays. So let's get back to the AI agent. Remember, I mentioned the keywords for AI Agentic AI, right? So I will show you again, and this time we will split it into 4 components, and that's the basic or fundamental of AI. What is an AI agent? So we have 4 components. One is the model, very basic. Whichever LLM model you are using, it can be Gemini, it can be Gemma, or it can be Llama or ChatGPT, any models, LLM model. Then for the tools, it can be different functions or connecting to different database resources. We come into more details into that. And then the reasoning is, of course, is able to process complicated instruction and then link it to correct actions to call. Then the last one will be on deployment, is deploy to your, let's say, any of the provider. So this will be the 4 basic components for an AI agent. So for today's session, we are more covering into the tools part. I will go into details later. For the components part, take away the deployment because that one is more for production level, right? So we are looking into 3 primary components, which is the tools, reasoning, and the model. So for the tools part, this tool, there are 3 primary types. You can connect it to other toolset extension, or you can define your own functions. I will show you some example in the demo later. And then another type is you can connect to your own in-house database. So you can be connecting to different part on the tools. For reasoning, this one is to be able to process the prompt into completing the complex tasks, right? So it's more on the reasoning. So this part, some example maybe you have heard of, is the React system, the chain of thought. I think these are more complicated structure, how the AI communicate or defining the reasoning part of the AI loops. So I won't be going into very details into this part, but for today we are more covering on the tools part first, so that you can understand the first, and then we can go to the second part, the reasoning and other things. So thanks. So far so good. Not too technical, but it's not too unprocessable, right? Right? So So it's very important for us to understand the AI components, because once you understand the basic of all these AI components, right? When I go through the code data, you will be able to map it to the theory or the foundation of it. Then from there, once you have understand and know how to do it, you can easily extend from there. And or maybe to change the use case to your projects or company case. So let's take a look on how to build an AI agent. Anyone has built an AI agent before? Maybe, so these are can be very too simple for you. If you already have trying to work on all this multi-agent architecture, but this is just a very simple first day 101 of AI agent application. So let's take a look how we can do that. So you will see it's a bit repeating on this architecture. So we have the agent, we have the model, the tools, the reasoning, right? So imagine that I send in a prompt. I want to book a flight from Austin to Zurich. You send to the agent. So from here, the link loops will process it. So you are looking for a flight, and then what is the destination, and also then it will actually connect to the tools here. You are looking for the flight, so you will connect it to the flight functions of the tool. Then you will retrieve the data or answer from it, and you will just send it back to the result. So here are some flight information that interest you, but you did define the flights because it's keep on changing and it's very dynamic to what date to select and what destination you select, right? So again, similar things, just this one is just a little bit of extension from there. So you send in the question from UI, and then the UI will send to the backend, to the agentic system. So here you actually connect to one of your LLM model, and also then it will connect to either the functions or data store or the extension tool that you define. Then from here, whatever the question prompt that you send in, we will try to process a reasoning it, and then map it to the different tool set and send it back to the response of it. So another one way that is possible is the function execution loop is like calling external function as well, like the Google Places API and all. I will also share with you, and one of the example is using the Google Map API for your interest. So for today's session, we will just covering on the functions part. So once you are familiar with the function, you can easily extend to connection to your in-house database and whatsoever. So let's take a look how we are going to do that. So for the model, today we'll be covering on Gemma. Then the tools is function calling from the Google Gemma model. And let's take a look. I already explained the Google Gemma is an open model. It's the same family as the Google Gemini. The Gemini is a big version, but the Google Gemma is a similar concept with open source before you open model, so you can get only the model is free. So then let's take a look on the Gemma history, right? It's actually being introduced back in 2024. So nowadays, you'll be very, very fascinated on how fast the model update can be. So it's every quarter they have a new updates and changes and all. So it's just being introduced by 2024. And back then it started with open model with just text modality. You can just do the simple text. Then with the Gemma tool, we have different model with Kali Gemma for images and Code Gemma for coding and all. Then 225 has been the latest release is the Gemma 3. Now let's take a look what is inside Gemma 3. I have put in a bit of highlight what's new in Gemma 3. So it's support multiple inputs, meaning it can support image and text already. Unlike the previous model, it can only support the inputs for text. So you can send in the images as well. Then longer context window size, 128, and then multilinguality. So not just English, you can also ask it to translate languages from, let's say, English to French and so on. So, and also it has a strong reasoning with the function calling. So this is a bit of more detailed explanation on what has been highlighted earlier. Then if you are interested to explore on Gemma 3, I will quickly show you this one. So you can actually access through this Google AI Studio. You can try it for free, and you just need to log into your Google account, and then from this AI Studio, right, you just select the Gemma model. Then you can see like there are different model types. Actually model size. One remark though, Gemma 3 1B is the smaller size of Gemma 3, but it doesn't support multi-modality, meaning that it can only have the input text, but not the images. But other models are all good. So you can give it a try and all. If it's in the link of my slide that I will be sharing to the organizer later. So don't worry on this part. So feel free to explore on this. But let's take a look on how we can do work on or build an AI agent with Gemma 3, right? So let's take a look on the highlight is here actually. The Gemma 3, the latest with the function calling. So, and this one just a simple benchmark, but of course, this kind of benchmark get overwritten very fast. Just want to point out is the Gemma 3 is actually very, very competitive with the DeepSeek R1 model. So DeepSeek R1 is also open model, right? So in the same level of the open model ranking, I think the Gemma 3 is working quite the top tier of one of the top tier models. So you can give it a try if you are more towards this open model. So now, a bit of introduction on Gemma. Now take a look on what is function calling from the two steps part. So function callings is actually known as a tool use, providing the LLM with external tools. Let's say I want to define an external function called get exchange rate. I'm coming to Australia. I want to know what's my currency exchange rate, right? And this kind of data, it will not be able to treat it because it's frustrating daily or hours, right? And also, it's hard for you to put into a rule base. So the easiest way is you can define the function and connect it to one of the open APIs to get the exchange rate, and then supplement back to your LLM model to send back as a response. We will look into this example later in the good book. So this is new in Gemma 3. It actually supported function calling. So you will see it's simple to connect to function calling using Gemma 3 already. And then next, take a look on the flow. So this is the application. This Gemma is actually the Gemma model for our use case. So when the application send in the prompt, and then we will also define the function definition to the model. And then you will decide what to respond, which the question is related to exchange currency or maybe some other information, like maybe it's getting the weather, all these things, right? So once it's decided and get the answer, it will send back as a final answer to the completion. Or it can also, depending, you can actually define it more complex. You can retrieve the, let's say the name or arguments from the function and then send it to another function to get the final answer. So that is also possible. We can take a look at it later also. So it's just a very quick recap. So the user send in the prompts to the applications, which contains the prompt and the function declaration to the model. And then the model will, using its reasoning capability, to decide which function declaration is suitable. Then you will link it to that function and get the answer. And from this function call, if the function call is having calling another external API, it will actually be sending the request to external API and get the answer. And then you will send back to the model, and it will be combined together as a final answer to send back to the user. So this is how internally it is processed. All good? So let's take a look on coding. Once you already understand, we will take a look on how we are done in code. So in here, I have prepared a notebook. So in my slide deck, this is the link. You will be able to access it also. So first of all, we will need to install the library called this Google Gen AI. We can also use the Gemma 3 model from Keras, but that one is a bit more complicated. I think this is the latest one. That's why I changed to this, much more easier for you to use and understand. So after we have installed all the Gen AI API, we just import the libraries. And then here is how I'm done. So I am actually, you can see, right, too small, right? I'm actually getting the Gemma 327 byte struct. So you may ask, what is API key, right? Will show you where you can get it. So in your AI Studio, you can just connect to this get API key. And then you can just create a new API key. And this API key, you can just put in to, I'm putting into my secret. So you can actually also can hard code your API key here so that it will grant the access to your Gemma 3 model. So once you are connecting to the Gemma 3 model, so I have created another helper functions. This one is just to pre-process the response data from the model to make it more user-friendly. It has a bit of all this model syntax that I want to remove. So yeah, I'm just removing all the pattern, trying to look for these two codes and two output or syntax from the answer, LM answer, and then to just clean it up. So in here, my example is get exchange rate, right? I have two functions. One is called convert. So I will put in an amount and then my currency and the new currency that I want to convert. So in this function, it's actually internal. It's actually need to do the conversion. I need to know what is the currency exchange rate, right? So in the currency exchange rate, I'm getting it from this open API from this API.exchange rate to get the currency. So it's a live update currency data. So once I get the currency data, I'm just sending it the rate. And then here I am, this is the use case. I will come back later. So let's take a look on these two examples first. So how I do in the prompt, right? Remember we said that the function calling the prompt plus function declaration. What it means by that is in this prompt, you are actually defining very simple. So you are just ask the model to decide and invoke any of the function defined. And it is wrapped with the tool code. And so you can just define whatever functions here. Like here in top here, I have these two functions, right? Convert and get exchange rate. So in the prompt, I'm just defining the Python declaration, the function, just the function name and parameter. And then very important is that you need to also specify or describe what your function is doing. This will help the model to determine is this function to be called or not. Otherwise, you can just simply put function ABC or full function and all that. It will be very ambiguous as this model of function based. So you need to define the function description into this prompt. So here I have two function declaration. One is the convert, and then one is the get exchange rate. So it will be, once it connected to here, it will actually try to link to the function and then do the process. So we will take a look here. So what we will do here is very simple then. So from the Gen AI, I'm calling the gen.chats.create, and then you just put in the model. For today, I'm using the Gemma 27B instruct. So then I'm just sending the message. I'll start with the hello. So the reply will be like, how can I help you? You can see. So yeah, so this is actually is already defining the AI currency money currency converter, right? So then my next question is like, what is RM200 in AUD? So here, maybe you are not aware, this RM is actually Malaysia ringgit. You see, it can actually process and reasoning it without, I'm just putting the how we normally put our currency in my country. Is we start with, normally it's like 200 USD or 200 AUD, right? We are in different format. It's RM200 in AUD. But here you can actually see the model can able to process it directly. And then to AUD, it can understand is actually Australian dollar. So then it will use the convert function to do this, right? Then you will then you will see like in the tool code, it can convert, it will actually can split this prompt and retrieve the parameter for it. Like the amount is 200, the currency is RM, the new currency is AUD. So then it's very simple, right? You are actually be able to define your own functions and without, well, of course with the function declaration, but you need to specify tool or ask it to implicitly call this function. It will just very smart to know which to call. So this is a simple example. The next example I want to show you is I have added in just now. This I want to try another example. I will be calling the Google Map API. So I'm adding the Map API key. And then I have defined two functions, geocode address to convert the location into the latitude and longitude. And then the search places is also like trying to find what are the nearby, let's say, restaurant and whatever from that location. So here in the prompt, similar template. So I am just sending the function declaration of these two, the new one. And then same things here in the when I'm connecting to my Gemma model. Here the prompt I am connecting to my the calling map API, the new one. So here you can see the answer will start with the hello. It will say that, do you want to find a place or get coordinate address and all? So it knows what your AI agent wants to do or the role of it. So then let's say like, where is Brisbane, Australia? So you will actually now is connecting to a geocode address without saying that get like call geocode using this location. You would like to do the parameter retrieval yourself. So then it's very simple then. Oh, good. So it's very clear, right? Not that difficult actually if you break it down. And I think that time is running. Any question? Okay. Very updated. It's one of the latest announcement of Google in this recent iOS. So it's not just A2A, the agent to agent. We also have this MCP. I think it's okay. And the latest one for the it's more complicated. If I can recall. MCP ACP. I think just 2-3 days ago is from maybe OpenAI. I need to double check on that. So it's different protocol, I would say. But it's going to again, as I explained in my presentation, the system, the technology get more and more powerful. So after this AI agent, people will try to do multi-agent. Then when the multi-agent, how can I agent talk to an agent? This is the problem. So people are trying to define the protocol and framework for. So with the computer one, we have the MCP, the A2A, and also I think the first one is X4. ACP agent control protocol from the course. Each have its own different architecture, I would say, but which one will sustain is actually no answer yet. People are trying to have their own version, like just like a model. They are doing the similar things, depends which one your tech stack is doing. Let's say you are Google technologies, maybe you can directly use the XA because it's much more backend supported. But it's not, there's no limitation. You can actually connect this to XCP because all are open source. You can actually use a different protocol at use case. I think it's going quite comes. Very efficient.
Sorry. We'll take one more question, then Lai Fong will be here for lunch and also in the afternoon session as well. Next, sorry, I was just going to ask about
Sorry?
So I was just drawing the comparison to the TCP and
Right. I would suggest to go for XP. It has a bit more defined framework on top of TCP. I think it's a similar concept there, but the concept of MCP, later we can discuss more. MCP, what it does is actually is like the agent server. So you have the layer of the server application server. Then you have this layer. So it's model maybe database and the reasoning layer on top of it. It builds into the same framework. So when you can start your MCP server, the server, then you can send through connections between these two communications. So it can help it improve on all this security and other things, also on the latency of the data transmission and all this. So yes, another layer of how it can improve on this AI agent applications. I will answer to you later. Then very quickly take us away, short 1 minute. Agentic AI is autonomous AI, it capable to perceiving the environment, making the decision. So like I showed you the example earlier, I can just tell it, get me the weather, get me the currency. You just normal question prompt, you determine what it needs to do. So you can just, the simple step is you need to define the function calling and then link it to your system prompt, define it, the function declaration, and you are up to go already. This is the basic Agentic AI. Thank you.